Today we're going to talk about regression and its benefits with Mira Kelley, author of the bestseller Beyond Past Lives. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you.
How do you like the weather here?
Well, I love Chicago in the summer and in the spring, and in the winter it's time to bundle up and be cozy.
You used to live here?
Yeah, I used to live here, yes. So I'm used to the cold weather.
But you were also a very successful Wall Street attorney.
That's right. Before stepping into the work that I do right now, past life regression, I used to be a corporate attorney and I used to represent publicly traded companies. Very different than what I do right now.
What changed your life?
The change in my life came because I experienced my own personal healing through past life regression. I had some very simple dental work which resulted in a terrible, really excruciating jaw pain that couldn't be resolved with anything. So I was told that I either need to learn to live with chronic pain for the rest of my life, or I need to have my jaw broken and then reattach back with wires. That's the operation that I was told I need to do. And neither sounded like an option. And so in my desperation of needing to find a solution, I reached out to a person and I did a past life regression with them with the hope that, you know, going through my past lives hopefully will heal this. And that's exactly what happened. I saw myself as a slave who had this big metal collar here, and the slave had the metal collar hurt right where the pain spot was in this life as Mira. And I have to tell you, after the experience of seeing this past life, I was able to release a whole lot of emotion, and miraculously the next day the pain was gone. And
it sounds like a miracle.
It truly, and yet it's the kind of miracle I see every day in my practice. I see the kind of transformation happening with people every day. And so that solidified my faith in this work, and then eventually I moved away from being an attorney to doing this.
So you're like Miracles Factory.
That's right.
Well, that sounds very exciting. What techniques do you usually apply to access info from past lives?
So past life regression is based on the idea that if we access past lives, much like what you said, we are able to understand the cause of the problem. We're able to see the big scheme, the big picture of what's happening. And people come to me with all kinds of questions. They want to know about their relationships. When are they going to find love? What is my purpose? Why do I have this pain? I need to heal this pain. How do I make more money? What is blocking the success of my business? So truly, people can use this process for anything that's going on in their life. And the process itself is very gentle, very simple. It's similar to meditation, or similar to the time we spend in nature when we're just simply gazing and just simply connecting. Because the moment we close our eyes and disconnect from the stimuli we get from the outside world, we focus within, and the answers are always within.
Is this your own know-how?
The flavor is definitely mine, but the ability to access lifetimes has been around for a long, long time.
How many past lives does a human have on the average?
Unlimited, truly unlimited. So a soul will choose to create as many lifetimes as is needed for the person to resolve whatever learning they're looking to create and resolve.
Why are humans more interested in what happens to them after they pass away rather than what had happened to them before they were born?
I have to tell you, I think it has to do with the fear of the unknown. What happens after I die?
But the things which had happened before we were born are also unknown.
They are, very much so. And yet simple processes like what I teach and offer people, it really allows them to connect and really allows to experience the unknown and feel safer in the universe, answer the big question of what happens after I die. And one of the greatest benefits, which comes much as a surprise to a lot of people, is that once I guide them to experience past or future lifetimes, they get to go through the moment of transition, the moment of passing. And then people say, truly, it actually feels like a very joyful, liberating, freeing experience. I've worked with tens of thousands of people, and everybody always says the same thing. It's a beautiful moment when the soul leaves the body. Truly, the pain is for those of us who are left behind, the regret, the sadness, the missing.
There is a saying, history repeats itself. Do you agree with it?
And we actually call this karma, don't we? And not only does history repeats itself from a lifetime to a lifetime, but also it happens in this lifetime, right? I want to invite our viewers to think about the same pattern that repeats over and over in their life, in their business, in their relationships, like people, getting in relationships with the same kind of person. And the reason being for that is because we're just not learning, right? So until we learn, we are not able to progress. And so karma, or repeating the same pattern, is not a punishment. It's an opportunity to balance and learn from every point of view.
So what you're saying is that you can learn from history so you can live a better life.
Absolutely, but think about it. As much as we read books and watch movies, truly the personal experience is what gives us the best learning, right? And that's why the challenges. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. And I have to tell you, I'm remembering now a client I worked with who experienced a very peaceful, non-eventful lifetime. And when he transitioned, he met with his spirit guide, and his spirit guide said to him, "Okay, well, what did you learn now?" And the client said this was really time wasted because there was no involvement, no learning, no growth, no challenges. So for those of us who are having trouble with the things in your life, please trust me, when your soul leaves the earth, you're going to feel so satisfied that you've grown, you've learned, as opposed to the feeling, oh well, that was a life wasted.
Do animals have past lives?
I believe they absolutely do. I often work with people who see themselves as monkeys, as wolves, as dinosaurs, as stones, as angels. Because think about it, there's consciousness in everything. And even what we'll call an inanimate object, there is consciousness there. There's an experience. Of course, a
Some
dolphin...
people say that even the water has consciousness.
Absolutely, absolutely. The experience of being water and a dolphin and air and a human being are absolutely different experiences, yet consciousness has the opportunity to learn and grow through different experiences.
Yeah. Now tell me about your book.
So my book is called Beyond Past Lives, and as of today it's translated in 18 languages, so I'm very blessed with that. It has been a very impactful book for many people. It's reached truly it's been a very impactful book for a lot of people. It's a best-selling book, and it teaches people what happens with reincarnation. It introduces the idea of parallel realities, how time is not just a linear projection of one moment after another. Instead, how time is simultaneous, much like spiritual teachers and quantum physicists teach us.
We're talking about different dimensions?
Yes, and parallel now moments. So one of the ideas that I mention in this book is that lifetimes are actually simultaneous. So a lifetime that happened in the 14th century and in the 18th century, and one that happens in the 23rd century, for example, are all simultaneous happening right now, as opposed to just, the linear jump from one lifetime to the next. And of course, I also share the lessons I learned from my clients. I talk about purpose, how to find your purpose. I talk about loving ourselves and worth and our value. I talk about the value of forgiveness. So there's so much in here, and it's the stories of my clients, the things I've learned from my clients.
Is it fair to say that you learn from your clients?
Oh, absolutely. Every day. I feel like I'm on the cutting edge of adventure and exploration of the multiversity that we're part of. And every day I'm truly amazed at us as people, as souls, and I truly get to fall in love with everybody. I get to witness the magnificence of everybody's soul and their struggles and their challenges and how they overcome themselves and always become somebody better.
Can you tell me an interesting story from your practice?
I would love to. I have so many stories, but let me tell you about the story of working with a man who had digestion issues. When he was in college, he was training to be part of the Olympics team for the Olympics Games. And as he was training, all of a sudden, out of the blue, without having any reason, he actually developed severe health issues. He wasn't able to eat much. He really needed to drop out of school in order to be able to.
What was the root cause?
So he had to drop out of school in order to take care of his health, and the root cause was all gut issues. He couldn't eat much. He was actually limited to 10 foods that he can ingest. Can you imagine how limiting that would be?
That's not a big variety.
No, not much variety at all.
For a person who likes to eat like me.
Yes, you understand. And so that severely limited his life, and there was always issues with his gut, right? Always. And about a decade later, he ended up in my office. And here's what he experienced. He experienced a past life where he was a bullfighter. And he went to this epic scene of him being in the middle of an arena and he was fighting a bull. And imagine the crowd cheering, the crowd roaring, and imagine how right there for just a split second he didn't get out of the bull's way. And the bull, right when the bull's horn went right through the middle of his stomach and his gut spilled in the dust, and there was such an epic moment of the heat and the crowd roaring. You know, he was seeing it everything almost in a slow motion. And it was such an emotional experience for him. And when he came out of the regression, out of this life, he put the two and two together. He was getting ready to compete in the Olympics, and there he was. He developed a gut issue, right in his stomach, and so he realized that it's safe for him to be in front of people. It's safe for him to be seen. That if he exposes himself to be in the center of attention, he will not get hurt again, because that's where the body went. The body went to the memory of, if I'm in the middle of a stadium, the crowd cheering, it will be the death of me. And so that's how the body really went into protecting him, into safety. And so he walked out of our session, and as he was leaving, he said to me, I'm going to go get a burger. Now, for him, that was a luxury, right? And the following day, his wife came in for a session with me, and she walks in, and she says to me, Mira, what did you do to my husband? That's what she said. And I said to her, why? And she told me, we had Italian as a family for the first time last night. It has never happened in our marriage, because he simply couldn't eat the pasta. He couldn't eat the gluten before. And wow. So she said, he's healed, he's done. So that's the kind of transformation I witness every day, not only physical, but also emotional. Because once you understand the bigger picture, you're able to do better. You're able to really create change.
What are the issues which you can't resolve?
I want to tell you that there truly aren't issues that you cannot resolve.
The sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit. That's why I was giving you all these different examples of how people work with me, because truly we can address anything. Because behind every issue, because think of this, the issue is never the issue. There's always something underlining. There's always a deeper cause. And this work, past life regression, allows us to go right to the root cause of the challenge, of the problem, and allows us to address it right where it all began. And that's how we do it. That's how we get these amazing results for people.
Your answer to the question, what is the purpose of human life?
I have to tell you, that's the question I hear most often from my clients. Everybody comes in and says, what's my purpose? And here's the answer. The purpose of each one of us is to be ourselves. It's really a twofold answer. On a bigger level, our purpose is to manage our creative abilities, our ability to think and feel, because through our thinking and through our emotions, we literally create the destiny of our life. So we are here in order to learn to handle our mental power and not to play the victims of our lives. So that's the bigger overall picture of why we are all here. And the more focused answer for each one of us is that our purpose is to be ourselves, to use our gifts and talents in order to serve, in order to make the world a a better place, to have an impact with what we're here to offer. And in the doing of it, of course, we are using our mental power, meaning our thoughts and our emotions, and that's how we get to truly be the creators of our lives.
Do you believe in the future of human species?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said to you, I get to witness the magnificence of people every day. I get to witness people's hopes and dreams. And one thing I'm sure of is that there's definitely plenty of room to grow, plenty of room to make changes. There's no doubt about it, right? We all see it on the nightly news. And yet, at the same time, I know that we're...
So you're not worried about certain global trends right now?
I see them as an opportunity to learn. And, you know, consciousness is never limited by the experiences. Whether we go left or right, consciousness learns from every choice, even the mistakes we make. And now we always learn from every mistake, right? We always learn how to do it differently. And of course, I wish that we wouldn't have to learn from our mistakes. I wish we could just learn in a state of peace and calm and connection with one another, and of course with the divine. But, you know, I also understand that we learn through experience and through mistakes. And yet, at the same time, I'm an optimist.
You have clients from all over the world.
I do.
It's not possible physically to meet them in person. So I suppose with some of them you work remotely?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of people, like you said, all over the world, and we simply connect over the internet, and that's how we work together. And one thing I have found out, which really works for all of us, is that it makes no difference whether I'm in the same room with the person or if I'm in Los Angeles and the person is in Hong Kong. Makes no difference. They still get to have the profound experience I'm able to deliver.
Do you speak other languages?
I do, but it truly is between Bulgarian and English for me these days.
You're mostly fluent in those two languages?
I've studied many different languages as well, and at that time I was fluent, but these days, these are the languages I practice the most, so I feel most comfortable.
And what it is that you want to accomplish in your life?
Thank you. This is such an amazing question. Thank you for asking me for my mission. I feel that I'm here to bring light to the world, to inspire people to their power. I feel that it is my mission to empower people to create their destinies and to see the bigger picture of their lives and not play small, instead truly open up and be seen, be heard, and to make the world a better place.
Thank you, Mira. Keep on helping people around the world stay healthy and happy by accessing information from past lives. Happy and healthy New Year to you too.
Thank you to you as well.